So which stubby's for you? Well, stick around and see. I'm Tim, you're watching Shop Tool Reviews. With the release of the brand new Milwaukee Gen 3 M18 FUEL Compact Impact wrench, man, that's a lot of words. Anyway, we wondered, is it as good as the Stubby? Is it as good as the Ridgid Sub-Compact? Well, let's just find out. We're not going to worry about features per se. We may talk about a few things, but we're going to jump right over on the test bench, actually test all three of these, see which one tightens the most, see which one loosens the most. And then we'll come back and just wrap it all up. Okay, so which Stubby do you choose? Do you choose the original M12 Stubby, the Ridgid Sub-Compact Stubby, or the M18 Compact Stubby, the M18 Stubby? I know, this is the only real Stubby, but you get it. So do we go with the M18 Compact? Do you want the Ridgid Sub-Compact or the Milwaukee M12 Stubby? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna run through a couple of tests here. First, what we're going to do, we're going to use each one of these. We're going to tighten 10 nuts down as hard as they'll go for 5 seconds for each one. Take our torque wrench, back those off, get a value of what those are, and then we'll compare them to the others as well. After that, we'll come back and we'll set these to a certain amount of torque with our torque gun, and then we'll see if each one of these can back them off, and we'll declare a winner. We're going to start with the OG. The original M12 Stubby. So this is kind of what started the trend. I don't know who started the trend, but anyway, this is the Milwaukee M12 Stubby. We've got a full battery. You can see, pull the trigger there. We get 4 bars there on our indicator. Using an XC 3.0 battery. I know you can go to a 6.0. Wanted to go middle of the road, got a 3.0 pack. So there we're good with that, good battery. We'll put this in Titan mode. We're on power mode 3. We're not in auto mode. We're in mode 3. That's our strongest. We're going to hit these for 5 seconds each. All right, here we go. So there's one thing of significance there. So after tightening those, all 10 bolts, we've dropped down. It showed 2 bars a second ago. Now it's cooled off for just a second. So we're showing at least a 1 bar battery drop. That could come into play. Now we'll take our torque wrench and we'll back these off and get a reading. 155.4. $157.1. So we're going to move on to the Ridgid Sub-Compact. We're running a 3/8 drive anvil there, so we've got to use our adapter because, again, if you've watched my other videos, I cannot find a 3/8 drive 33mm socket. If anybody can, let me know. Anyway, so that's one small kind of strike against it, or something that may have to overcome. But again, we're going to use not auto mode. We're going to go into mode 3 here. Let's make sure we got a full charge. We got to get a full charge on our battery. And so we're going to see how well the Ridgid Sub-Compact can do. We'll go into Titan, and now we'll hammer all these down and see how we do. Okay. So there we have it. Let's see our battery indicator here. So we've dropped a bar on this as well. So let's see how well we did here. Again, we'll take a calculation. 129.8. And 141.4. All right, now we're going to move on to the brand new M18 Compact. This is the 2854-20. So this is the 3/8 drive. The 1/2 drive would be the 2855. But just thought, since we've got the Ridgid and the 3/8, we would use the 3/8 drive compact here as well. So again, having to use an adapter, 3/8 to 1/2 adapter with the 33mm here to use on our test bench. So we will get ready to go here. I'll make sure my battery's up. Yep, got 4 bars on the battery. We'll go into speed mode 3. There we go. And now we'll tighten these down. Okay, we'll take our torque wrench. 193.4. Eight, 198.3. And by the way, after 10, looks like we've dropped one, but I'm pretty sure this is the battery I used for testing the other day. So really that's more than 10 volts on this battery already. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I am going to take and I'm going to torque 3 of these at 100, 3 of these, or I'm going to do 3 at 150, 3 at 200, and 3 at 250, and we'll go from there and see which one of these will be able to break which one's loose. So here we go. So I'm going to set my torque gun here at 150. There we go. Then I'm going to go to 200. Okay, and now I'm going to go to 250. There we go. And one last one at 250 as well. So just as we started, I'll start with the OG here, and we'll see if we can't back off the 150 foot-pounds. No problem. Go to the Ridgid. I had it on Titan first. So yes, broke it free, no problem at all. This shouldn't be an issue. No problem. Back to the OG at 200 foot-pounds. No problem at all. The Ridgid. Got it. And the new compact M18. No problem. Okay, so we've done 150, we've done 200, all of them have succeeded. Now we're at 250, so now we're touching the top of the range for each one of these guns. No problem, and we're still down to 3 bars, but still breaking that free at 250. This is where I'm not sure if the Ridgid will be able to handle this, but we'll see. Speed mode 3, still got 3 bars here. Here we go. Okay, so had to hammer on it for a few seconds there, but it got it no problem. And I know this is probably not going to be an issue whatsoever. Yep. No problem, broke both of those free at 250. Okay, let's go ahead and step it up. While we're here, we'll go ahead and torque some down to, we'll just jump up to 300 and then maybe do 325. Okay, so we're gonna go here and we're gonna step this up, and we're just gonna go to 275 here, because I'm not sure how much more of these, some of these can take. And then I'm going to go up to 300. And then just in case one is still left, we'll jump up to 325 as well. Okay, here we go. Back to the OG. We've got the M12 Stubby, 275 foot-pounds. Let's see what happens here. Broke it free. Let's see how the Ridgid does. That one broke it free too. Now we'll go to the M18 Compact. Well, if I put it on loose, then maybe. Okay, no problem for 275. So now we're getting definitely out of their realm of where it says they're supposed to be able to handle this. So now we're at 300 foot-pounds. 300 foot-pounds, breakaway force, M12 Stubby. Broke it free. Let's go to the Ridgid. Okay, so what's that? 8 seconds of hitting, and it finally broke that free, but it did do it, but it took a while to get there. $300 foot-pounds, M18, no problem. Now we're getting overboard here, so now we're at 325. Wow, 325, good on the M12 Stubby. Now 325 for the Ridgid Sub. Yep, still on 3. Got 2 bars drop now. Okay, so after a while, it definitely did it, but it took a while hitting it for it to happen. I'm impressed. I didn't think these things would go that far past. I know this one will. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's keep stepping it up. Let's go to 325 now. Okay, now I'm going to go to actually we were 325. Let's go up to 350. Okay, now we're going to 350. Now let's go to 375. And then we'll go ahead and torque some to 400 as well. So let's go back to the Milwaukee, the OG M12 Stubby. Still down to 3 bars, still on speed 3, and here we go. All right, so that was, what did we start at, 350? So that was 350. Now let me go ahead and move down here and see if we can get 375. That took a little bit. Okay, I'm going to call it there. I'm going to say if it can hit for 10 seconds and not back it off, we're going to call that. So 350 foot-pounds, still, what, 100 foot-pounds over what they claim out of the Stubby. Great job, little Stubby. Okay, now let's see what we can get out of the Ridgid here. Let's see if she's got any left in her. Still got 3 bars here. Still in speed 3. And so 350 foot-pounds. Okay, no go for that one. So that one stopped at 325. And now let's see what we get out of the M18 Compact at 350 foot-pounds. Oh, okay, so it took a little bit for that too. Now let's go to 375. Okay, Now, would we say 400 here? Oh, we were in auto mode. I goofed. I ran those bolts back on in auto. So I'm going to go back to speed mode 3, and now we're at 400 foot-pounds. Yep, took a little bit. We'll do 400 again. So that took a little bit, but that anvil's definitely getting hot. Let's see if we got any damage to that. Nope, looks good. But 400 foot-pounds, it backed those off. Whew, that is warm. So anyway, so it looks like, I think what I expected was that the M18 Compact definitely did more than the M12 and the Ridgid, but I will say they all did very well. What the Milwaukee did 350, the Ridgid did 325, and the M18 Compact did 400. So there you have it. Okay, let's talk about the results. Well, first, let's talk about a couple of things. Were you surprised? Yes, neither. At least not in the way they finished. You know, as far as the podium's considered, we figured the M18 would finish on top. We kind of figured that the M12 Stubby would edge out the subcompact. However, we were a bit blown away at how far over they seemed to kind of push that limit as to what they would break free. So we were pretty excited to see that. Even the Ridgid, you know, that finished on the bottom, if you will, didn't finish too far on the bottom. It still exceeded, I believe, the 225 foot-pounds of force that it talks about. So anyway, so we were excited to see that. But let's talk about the real numbers. Now, as far as the breakaway, you saw that. I think what the M18, I think, hit 400 foot-pounds. The M12 was 375, and I think the Ridgid did break free the 350 foot-pounds. So great job on all those. Now, as far as tightening goes, let's run through these numbers real quick. On the M12, it was 155.4, 154.9, 155.0, 150.0, 141.5, 174.4, 151.7, 119.9, 152.7, and 157.1. Now, that gives us an average of 151.0 foot-pounds. Now, if you use our factor, if you want to know about the factor, I'll show you a link to a Torque Explained video. Anyway, so we divide by factor, that gives us 196.1 foot-pounds is what the fastening strength is calculated as. Now we move on to the Ridgid Sub-Compact, and we had 129.8, 142.8, 143.3, 135.3, 109.1, 156.0, 134.3, 125.8, 153.4, and 141.4. Now again, you average all that out, comes out to 137.1. You divide by our 0.77 factor, and we get 178.1. Then we go to the M18, and we got 193.4, 202.0, 178.1, 183.5, 170.6, 199.2, 177.4, 134.1, 193.3, and 198.3, giving us an average of 183.0. Again, we divide by our factor, and we get 237.6. Let me read those again. Not all of them, just the end part. So our factored number, 237.6 for the M18. Our factored number for the M12 coming in second, 196.1. And coming in third for the Ridgid was the 178.1 of fastening strength. Now that's a calculated number. Again, I divided by 0.77 because when we take and use our workbench and we tighten them all to 100 or 200 foot-pounds, and then we take the torque wrench and back them off, we get a factor of how much force it takes to break something free once it's tightened. So in other words, if we tighten it to 100 foot-pounds, it takes about 77 foot-pounds of force to break that free. So that's our factor. Again, we're backing our way into it. Regardless, you could use the original numbers to kind of set what those are as well. And just in case you're doubting me, my numbers for the M18, which we just did, a day or so ago on the same tool from, 2 days ago, we're within 3% of those numbers as well. So I think I'm in a decent window of being able to calculate what that is, whether you use that number as a number or whether you use it as just a gauge. That's what it is. So again, 237.6, 196.1, and 178.1. Hey, I think they're all awesome. And people ask all the time, well, should I get the M12 Stubby or the M18 Compact? Well, that really depends on What platform are you on? Do you have the 18 volts already? Then maybe you ought to get a compact. You know, do you have the 12 volts already and you really don't want to buy into the 18 volt platform? Then buy a stubby. I think they're all great tools. I think the M18 is going to give you some more breadth as far as, you know, what you can do. It has a little more power, as well as there's going to be more gas in the tank, because when you're running a 5.0 battery, you're going to be able to take more fasteners off. That doesn't bother you, then again, stick with the M12. And if you're on the Ridgid platform, I think you'll be happy with this as well. It's a smaller tool. Anyway, there it is. You decide, let us know. Hey, if you like this video, would you hit that like and subscribe button? If you didn't like it, as always, give us that thumbs down, but will you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.